At last, the Jedi were no more, and the galaxy was his to do as he pleased. Palpatine had brought about the grand plan, and now the Sith were in control of the entire galaxy. So if it was always the Sith's plan to rule over everything, then why did Palpatine continue to hide his identity as Darth Sidious? Greetings, curious acolytes of the Force, and welcome back to the archives. Darth Sidious has succeeded in doing what no other Sith had done before him, and yet he didn't take the pleasure of ousting himself as a Sith to the public eye, cluing them in on who truly ruled the galaxy yet again. Even though the Jedi already knew, the Republic had turned against the Jedi, and now Sidious was their emperor. His word was law, and no one could stand against him. But yet, Sidious kept his Darth title hidden and his Sith secrets to himself. But yet, despite doing this, Darth Vader was allowed to publicly acknowledge himself as a Sith Lord. So why exactly was this? Well, my friends, the answer is quite fascinating and is a testament to Sidious's genius. Not all is as it appears, and if you want to continue solving mysteries just like this one, be sure to reach out and force crush that subscribe button. It is your destiny. During the Clone Wars, Palpatine was forced to lead a double life in order to ensure the perfect continuation of the Sith plan, pulling the strings of the Republic as the Supreme Chancellor Palpatine, and then turning around to control the Separatists as the Dark Lord of the Sith, this being no easy task, nor was it in any way less stressful than it sounds. Palpatine was having to control two parties in a war while keeping his double life a secret. Having to rely on an inner circle of contacts was likely very risky, especially for Sidious, as he had put the entire fate of his plan in the hands of people such as Sly Moore and Masa Meta, both of whom knew of his double life and would regularly cover for him when he had to do business as Sidious. By the time of the rise of the Empire, it would have been the perfect opportunity for Sidious to finally throw off the shackles of the double life and finally be Sidious, no longer Palpatine. Sidious had decidedly exercised a great deal of self-control whenever he took over the Republic and reorganized it into the Galactic Empire. It was the Sith's great day of victory, and he would have had every right to gloat about it by finally dropping the facade of the vulnerable politician from Naboo, revealing out of the gate the most fearsome and powerful being in the galaxy, the most powerful Sith Lord since Valkorion. But yet, Palpatine wisely held back from doing so, continuing to be the unpowered Palpatine, just with more influence and control over the galaxy. In fact, Palpatine had actually made the plan to continue keeping his identity a secret for as long as the Empire could exist. Our source today comes from Sidious's chapter in the Book of the Sith, which is titled Absolute Power. In this section, he gives us a detailed account of exactly why he decided to retain his anonymity. The passage goes as follows: "The galaxy is free from the Jedi, and the citizens rejoice. Therefore, it would be foolish to replace their regime with an identical system led by that of the Sith. At least publicly, the weak do not understand the Force. They venerate those who appear to be ordinary people like themselves. They cheered at the news that a resolute old man had survived a Jedi assassination attempt. In Palpatine, an ordinary senator from Naboo, they see a model of human achievement. It was an excellent stroke of genius that Palpatine decided to temper his pride and remain the way that he had always been perceived. If it was revealed that he was Force sensitive, the people would have had much more unrest. As Palpatine pointed out, the average citizen does not comprehend the Force. They don't know, and probably don't care about the differences between a Jedi and a Sith. They fear those with supernatural powers, all the same. By his own hand, Palpatine had ensured that they did, ensuring that the average citizen would turn against the Jedi and oust them during the Purge. Not to mention, this would have completely diminished the impact of Palpatine's supposed survival after the assassination attempt by Windu, a moment that caused the galaxy to call Palpatine their truest hero. If he revealed himself to be the most powerful Sith Lord that had ever lived, that the scars that he now bore on his face, the one that he displayed and that represented his brave stance against the tyranny of the Jedi, would mean nothing. Palpatine did not need the powers of the Force to subjugate anyone. He was now the absolute authority, and there was no one left worthy of the knowledge that he was a Force wielder. But again, one major question remains. Why did Palpatine allow Vader to be publicly known as a Sith Lord? We are sure that knowledge of his strange powers were very public knowledge, as his rumors were widely known among the troopers of the Rebel Alliance. He also regularly displayed his powers in the Force among the Imperial military by constantly killing officers. Not to mention that high-ranking Imperials such as Grand Moff Tarkin actively point out in A New Hope that Vader is the last of the Jedi. Not only is Vader known as a Sith, but he was also known as a former Jedi to most. So why was this not forced to stay a secret as well? Luckily for us, Palpatine explains this too. My apprentice and other agents of my will are fearsome embodiments of the dark side. Mere rumors of their presence are enough to frighten citizens into obedience. But those same citizens must not know that a Sith Lord has constructed the Galactic Empire until the moment is too late. Vader's identity as a Sith Lord inspired much fear. Ruling by fear, according to Palpatine, was a fine line, a tightrope that threatened to snap at any moment. Palpatine needed to be an expert on psychological warfare, weakening the minds of their opponents without giving away their true secrets, much like the Sith ability of Dun Mach. Similar to this, Sidious points out that Dun Mach could quickly and easily backfire if one wasn't careful enough while using it incorrectly or against the wrong person, and it could cause them to fly into a rage that would be difficult to quell. The same rules applied for ruling the galaxy. Palpatine must force the average citizen's hatred into a direction that is advantageous to him, while also ruling by fear. Large battleships, and rumors of the leaders in the Imperial military that there is a Sith Lord in command. No knowledgeable citizen would ever try to rise up. Vader is the Emperor's dragon, his rancor if you will. If all goes well, and you're a good citizen of the Empire, then there are no problems. But if you challenge him, you may find yourself in the Rancor pit, facing down a monster that you cannot comprehend, and a power that exceeds anything you have ever seen. Rumors of these monsters is what kept citizens loyal, and kept their nightlights on, their blasters by their bedside. Fear of Vader even penetrates into the rebellion itself. And this, my friends, is the perfect balance that kept the Empire in power for 2 decades. Only destroying the Emperor and his dragon would the Empire ever fall. But anyway, my friends and acolytes, this is why Sidious retained his identity as a normal human being, despite Vader not doing so. We are eager to hear your thoughts on the subject, as well as a few theories of your own of what might happen should the citizens of the Empire learn the truth of Palpatine. As always, my friends, thank you so much for visiting our archives. May the Force be with you, and have a great day.